All right, what up, Trader Nation? So we're about to break down the charts for the next week, 31st through the first week of August. The thing that I'm going to do different about this actual video is I haven't prepped these charts, so I'm actually going to start super fresh and kind of show you guys from the beginning how I've learned how to do it and how I trade. So I usually would probably do this on Sunday. Today's Saturday, so I don't quite have the news aspect the same, but we'll still be able to get some good information um, as far as off of our calendar news. So I do have my notebook here. I'm always writing down the news for the week. Even though I have it online, it's just, to me, I could get to a little faster, a little quicker if I've had it written down at a glance type of thing right next to me. So that helps. Just kind of want to be quick when you're dealing with news, even though you're usually behind the move anyway. So just kind of recapping, last week was freaking crazy, guys. Like, we had some really good stuff going on. For those of you that know, we got a big boy trade going on right now on the GU. So I asked the question a couple days ago: is the pound at the bottom? Are we seeing the lows? You know, we are at 30-year lows right now, but is this the bottom? Is this the lowest that the pound is going to go? If so, it's like the best time to actually buy it. So we have a big boy trade on the pound right now. I got a 2,000 pip target, so just to kind of put that in reference, this is coming off of the monthly and weekly time periods. So it's not a fast trade. It's not for the faint at heart. It's actually going to take some patience and some times. And there is a strategy to this particular trade. Right now we're trying to add a position size every 100 pips or on every pullback and retracement. If it gives it to us, we want to add a position to this particular trade. Just to kind of give you guys an idea of what I'm talking about, here's my hourly chart on the pound. So my initial price entry was 30.24. I actually played around and had a 30.20 and got stopped out and some other things, but I ended up getting into the pound about that 30.24 range. Okay, so it pushed up nice and high, kind of where it is today, where it closed this past week, right around that 131.51 range. But you saw the pullback. Okay, so the pullback happened. I thought it was going to stop around the 38. It kept going and pushed all the way to a, pretty much a picture perfect 61.8 retracement. Closed there, played around, and then started working its way back up. So that was where I added my second position on the pound. So I had one here, pull back, add another one, looking for it to go ahead and make its way up to that 161 extension, which if you guys know, that's kind of what I look for off the fib levels, is going for the extension into the 161, and then we'll see a retracement again, a pullback, possibly a 61.8 retracement, and then I'll be looking to add another position, okay, all the way through this trade as many times as I possibly can. So that's kind of what the plan is for the pound. It is a big boy trade. It's possibly might run for about a 6 months, 7 months trade, and all along the time I'm going to continue to add to the position on that particular pound. So right now, just structure wise, we look pretty good. Starting off on the weekly time frame, we can kind of see that the idea came from just basic structure. I saw the double bottom down here. We started to break, making higher highs and higher lows, higher high again. So I'm like, okay, this pound might really be at the bottom. Putting it with some fundamentals. You have the weak dollar. The Article 50 is slowly starting to slow down just a little bit right now. Um, they just shifted some money from the BOE, about 300 billion, I want to say, into the pound. Sterling's doing good, so you have a lot of factors that are playing in to my decision on the pound. But ultimately, um, I was seeing that we're super cheap right now. It's undervalued, and there's a lot of upside. So I went ahead and pulled the trigger on the pound right now, and this to me is just going to be a long-term big boy trade. Again, I have a 2,000 pip target on this trade. So I challenge you guys, to go ahead and try it. Like everything is there. It's lining up. Structure wise, you have what you're looking for. If I draw a fib on here, I want to say we did break or coming up on the 23.6. So yeah, we're right at the cusp of the 23.6 level retracement. So again, you have technicals that are lining up with fundamentals. Look where my target is right up underneath 6.1, 61.8 retracement level. So I'm right there. Like everything should just be lining up. Like it's just a good time for it. So I challenge you guys, if you want to try to ride this pound with me, let me know what you guys are thinking about it. But a couple of my buddies are already in it. We're already rocking and rolling this thing, and we've already added one position to it. So you guys are 2 positions behind. But ultimately we should have roughly about 10 positions by the time we get up to our final target, and be closing them all out. You can play with it as you want to, but yeah, good solid trade, and that's going to be the pound. Um, let's go ahead and go to my UJ, because the UJ is kind of where all this stuff is stemming from. You guys that know me know that the dollar yen is basically my main pair. What do I have here? So coming off that weekly chart again, just really looking at the big picture. This is where I get most of my directional bias from. It's going to be that weekly time frame. This dollar, all this here, we had about 6 weeks of a straight bullish push off of the Trump election. Kind of topped out in January right after his inauguration at the 118s, and we've been working our way down ever since then. We're kind of in this range too, about the 108 to the 115 area, 115, 114 range, and we've just been playing in between that. So, I was talking to some guys the other day, some traders, and we were looking at structure and patterns, and I'm trying to teach people how price has a tendency to go where it's went before. So we're seeing these moves in here, and some people get confused on like thinking that it might continue to go up, but price likes to repeat what it's done in the past. Okay, so just looking here, and it's a bunch of patterns. Okay, we got up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Like that's a pattern. Okay, we start to break into another level. All right, now the range just extended a little bit. All right, so, but it's still the same thing. Down, up, down, up. Where are we gonna go? Okay, we're gonna come back down again. We're playing right where we've stopped at before. That whole range right there is giving us a little bit of trouble, but we've been here before. Okay, so you can expect price to do the same thing again. We might play around here once or twice more before we continue and working our way back down to the 108s. Okay, you're looking at, this is kind of what I'm seeing for this next coming week here, is maybe a little bit of a pullback depending on this news with the healthcare bill not going through, and now they're trying to move on to taxes and infrastructure bills. But I'm like, good luck with tax reform, because that's going to be twice as hard as the healthcare bill that they just tried 3 times and failed on that, just not being able to work together. So, hopefully we can figure out something. If not, all of this speculation, all of this anticipation about Trump and what he might do with the economy and taxes, all that's going to disappear. So we'll probably be back down into pre-election ranges here at no time. So we'll just kind of pay attention and watch out for that. Yeah, so this next week analysis on the dollar yen, I'm just looking for definitely overall biases to continue working our way down. I'm going to be still continuing to short the dollar. Same thing on this trade. I probably got another 200 pips that I'm trying to get out of it, but I have 2 positions that I've opened. One came a little bit earlier in the week off of a beautiful 61.8 retracement. Bam. Okay, so I entered right when I saw the retrace hit the 61. I just went ahead and pulled the trigger on that and came down. So I didn't even have a completed signal other than the 61.8. But the risk on these trades are pretty minor. Your stop loss goes right on the other side of the 61.8 level. So, you know, it's not a bad trade if you can see it and understand how it sets up. Then we're taking off from there. I also had a pending order down here for these new lows that got triggered too. It was kind of maybe a little bit lower than I would have wanted, but I'll take it. It was just being safe. I needed about 20 pips from that low just to make sure it was going to commit to the downside, which it did, and that order got filled. So I would definitely be anticipating a little bit of a pullback here when the market opens. So, you know, we might even see a little bit of a retracement on this move here, back up into the 61, 50s, and then we'll start working our way back down again. That level will be maybe around the 110, okay, range. So you're looking at a pullback just a little bit Sunday, Monday, or Tuesday on the dollar. All right, so we might have a little bit of pullback. What am I doing? I don't know that. Might have a little bit of a pullback into that 110 range, 110.86, before we continue this bearish move all the way down, coming right off of this pound. That's kind of what I'm looking for there. And that's the dollar yen. Next pair I like to look at is the dollar peso. Dollar peso, I'm waiting on a short opportunity right now. This thing has been selling. I've been in and out of it ever since about the beginning of this month. Hey,
My shoes.
I see, baby. You look pretty. Don't take them off. They're dangerous. No high heels for my 5-year-old. So we have this major sell-off that happened, and dollar peso is bouncing off this trend line right in here, looking again to short it on down. We got about roughly another 500 pips to the downside that I want to get before we hit a major level of support. $100 peso. So, and that should be setting up pretty soon. We might have a little bit of an upside move, maybe about 50 pips to the 50 pips to the upside before we roll off right around that 17.80 level, 17.80, and then we're just going to head down to the 17, 17 flats on that dollar peso if we trade the peso. CAD's been, we had a little bit of an up move last week. This thing has been just falling off, just bleeding out pretty much, and everybody's expecting the up move. So on the daily chart, we got a little bit of retracement, but we know we're even close to breaking the channel or showing any kind of signs of turning around. Even with that little up move yesterday, we turned right back around and just go ahead and cancel that out. So you're definitely going to be shortened. We're coming up on a super level of support, though, however, that we're seeing. So you can kind of look for this little bounce here, ricochet up. Maybe not, depending on the news on this one. You might have about 300 pips to the upside before we break these support levels. I wouldn't count on that, though. I would think this probably have even a smaller retracement or a little bit pullback, build some momentum, and then go ahead and blast through this 125 level, hit it down to the 119.37. It's kind of what I'm looking for on that CAD. So just continuing to short the CAD, we might see a little bit of a pullback that's definitely needed. So don't be surprised if that happens this week. I'll pull up the news here and see what we got. Alibaba. Okay, so this was last week. Friday, let's see what we got. Monday. A little bit of Aussie. A little bit of pound. Manufacturing, PMI. New Zealand will come out with something. Rate change. So, that kind of stuff right there, I definitely want to write down. NZD, be watching out for that. And what date is that? Tuesday. Rate change. All right, so we got to pay attention to that rate change on New Zealand. Pound, again, PMI, we got some non-farm. Okay, so Wednesday, some U.S. news. Non-farm payroll, non-farm payroll. Oil inventory. We come out with some pound news on Thursday. So what else do we have here? A little bit of pound. BOE speaks 5:30. Unemployment claims. So it looks like Thursday is the day we definitely want to watch. Okay, so you got to watch the pound, we got to watch the dollar, and we got to watch the Aussie Thursday. Got to make sure we get those taken care of. So I use both these sites, you guys, either from Force Factory, Daily Effects, I use them too, Alpha, I use them, Traders Economics, so I bounce around kind of on the news. Traders Economics definitely has a lot more detail. To me, it's a little easier to find. It's the one that we got trained on using, so I've kind of stuck with that. So some people always ask, what are you looking for when you look at fundamentals? Well, to me, I'm looking for what was it forecasted at, what was it previous, and then I want to see like the last about a 3 month range. So for the past 3 months, what's been going on? Um, and basically looking if a number comes out below 54 or higher than 58, then I have some stuff that I can kind of deal with if those numbers come out either at the extremes of the 3 month high or the 3 month low. You usually see some nice moves in the market based off of those. And the big ones you want to really pay attention to are your inflation rates and your unemployment numbers, job numbers, housing numbers are important. Um, you're looking for your reds for sure. Break into those. And I've watched these numbers for a while, so I've seen it do crazy stuff. You know, majority of the time when you have good numbers, um, the currency will either, it would normally buy. Okay, you would normally see an increase in the value. Um, but I've seen it do the total opposite. So just I've kind of learned to me, I trust structure a little bit more. Um, the news to me seems to follow the structure. If that makes any sense. Even some of the big moves like uh, the pound or the dollar yen, that 6 week high, it came right up to a major trend line on the monthly chart. So it pretty much followed the structure that was already set. Right here. So if this was the major trend line on the monthly chart, we were selling off. That buy up that we had 6 weeks bought right up to that level before it sold back off again. So I find that news will still happen within structure. So if you're structurally sound in your trading, the news won't surprise you as much as you think. Okay, so I got my days to look for. Thursday's a big day, and I'm watching the pound, dollar, and the Aussie on those days. And New Zealand will be on Tuesday. We got to pay attention to that one. All right, so we got that squared away. What else we got here? Let's go ahead and look at the New Zealand dollar. Um, Again, we'll start with the weekly, so you guys can see what's happening. We're pushing up, you guys. We're really cracking these highs. There was a level 73, 79. We broke that high. 74, 74. We cracked that one. And, you know, just looking at structure, what's next is a 77 level, 77.33. You can always look for these minor pullbacks to happen. First, so we'll probably retest this support level here before we work our way back up. We got about 200 pips to the upside. Okay, that's the weekly chart. We break into the daily. Have we already tested? No, we pushed through, came back down, tested again, so we have, and now we're working our way back up again. All right, so you know there's a couple ways to play this particular move. You can set a pending order on the top side. Okay, you can wait for it to move, retrace. Okay, pull back, and then get in again because this possibly might go ahead and try to retest this support level one more time. So we can see a little bit of a push up, roll down, okay, before we blast up one more time again. Let's go ahead and bring it to a little bit deeper time frame so you kind of see what happened here. All right. I'll probably do a video because I had some questions about this that kind of blew people's mind. Well, why are you looking at so many different time frames at the same time, and understanding how the candles are set up, knowing that a weekly candle has 5-day candles, and so on and so on and so on. That concept is well known but forgotten. I'll just say it like that. We tend to forget that small piece, which is a huge piece to forget. So again, we might, we're trying to get up there, okay, a little higher with a 200 pip range, somewhere up in here, maybe even a little higher. So we'll get that pullback, test the support level at 74, 76. And work our way back up on New Zealand. Interest rate is coming out. Did the interest rate change? Some kind of rate change. I'll double check that again. If it was interest rate or Where you at? That's where I saw it. Okay, so we need, is it Tuesday? August 1st. So yeah, there we go. So unemployment rate. I'll say so. So unemployment rate. And they're anticipating it to go 49, 48. Okay, so that's going to be good for them. So, you know, with the drop in the unemployment rate, which should be good for the New Zealand dollar, bad for the US dollars, that pair at least. So we'd have a push up on that New Zealand. So we can definitely be pushing that level. And that's going to be on Tuesday. So we might see a little bit of a freeze on this pair, New Zealand pair, like just kind of stall out, consolidate a little bit in anticipation of the news. Again, that rollback might even happen before we get the news and work our way up. So we can play it two ways. You're putting a pin on the top, price action. I'm looking for the higher high. I've been working on trying to get it at that lowest price, which is letting it pull back and then getting in. It limits my risks dramatically. It's just a harder entry to catch. Okay, but that's kind of what I'm looking for on the New Zealand dollar. Let's go Aussie. Aussie, like I said, we got some news coming out on Thursday to kind of be looking for. Again, this is paired with the dollar, so the dollar's news will also affect us on Wednesday. Uh, Non-farm payroll. Could be good. The Aussie is again is just ripping up. We're looking at the weekly chart, just weeks breaking highs. Okay, we do have a support or resistance level in sight at that 81 mark, so we can be looking for that to get struck here pretty soon. Definitely off of a slight pullback. We started it at the end of last week. We'll probably continue that pullback. Rolling down, maybe. Thing that gets me is this candle right here. Okay, it formed at a resistance level. It's got a little bit more body than I would like, but it did push down real hard. We had a nice push up, got rejected, price got rejected, came back down, bears kind of took control. We didn't engulf, we didn't cover the previous candle, so that's probably why we're seeing this one here. The bulls taking control again, so we'll kind of watch this pair. We're coming up on the trend line. It's a nice steep trend line. For breaks, it's just going to fall down, but we'll kind of see what happens right up in that range there on this AU. Again, the bias is though long. Of course, we want to go long, but we're definitely going to have some early week pullback first, testing the trend line, testing support, and then we'll break, complete the break, and head all the way up to the 181s. Excuse me, 81.71 range in there somewhere. Finish the week off a little higher. $81.67 is nice. have a short-term trade right in here that I might crack off a 15-minute chart. I'm just trying to get back to the highs. It might open up with a small gap up, try to fill. We'll just watch that pair. I might actually close it once it finally opens up. What else did we pull up this week? Gold and silver, rocking and rolling, baby. So, gold here on the daily. Again, dollar's weak. We're breaking levels, coming back up into those ranges. That's on the daily chart. Just weekly. This is a weekly chart. You know, we're definitely some downtrend action happening. So we'll see. It's kind of freaky. They were looking for the gold to keep pushing its way up, but I don't quite know. It's kind of in this limbo range. You know, we might test this level here. If it breaks through, hit that support at the 112.95. It's interesting. Got a little bit of support up underneath this. Coming just congestion. But ultimately, again, you know, you're looking to go long this week. How much you'll get, I don't know. It looks like about 300, 260 pips on the top side of that we might be able to get. Retest support, break off. Or we come back down here. Or here. More likely to work its way up though. So I'll be looking to go long. If I do trade the gold this week at all. I don't know. Silver's, I like how silver pays me a little bit better than gold. And last but not least, EU. EU's been ripping. I've already done this one. Yeah, I think I looked at it a little bit. Again, that weekly chart, we're breaking highs. They were looking for the 118 range to get struck. So that's a good target. I'm actually a little higher on mine. I'm thinking the 122s are what we're kind of flirting with here. $20s. It's definitely a reasonable shot. Again, it's just been bullish this whole time. So, you know, at some point it has to take a breath. We need a retracement to happen. We need a pullback. 23, 38, okay, 50, all right, before we start to really get up into these higher levels. This is another reason why I like the pound trade so much. You know, these kind of two pairs kind of run together. Power in the euros, power in the pound. So I'm really seeing it pushing up to the north. That's a nice trade. That's a nice pair. So we'll kind of watch the euro again. We wanted to short. We wanted to pull back. I don't want to say short because the overall bias is still to go long, but you know, it has to take this breath. So some people might scalp this retracement, scalp that pullback. I'm just looking for, if I do scalp the pullback, I'll do that. But then ultimately, it's just trying to give me entry into the long position that I want to continue to ride out. So that's kind of how that's going to play. Set these back up again. You know, these areas here, that's where you want to get in at. Boom. You're riding that up. Okay. Boom. Down here, riding that up. It pulls back. You missed it the first time, let it pull back. You'll get it again. Boom, right there. That's even better. It showed its face. Let the trade show its face. All right, that looks about it for this week, you guys. I missed you last week. It was just a continuation. These are some swing trades that have been going for about a week. I want to let them keep riding. Like I said, the pound is going to be a couple months. If you guys want to, go ahead and try that trade. Okay, it's headed up. All right, that's a weekly time frame. It's on its way up. We got a trend line here we'll test. We got a support, a resistance level that it's coming up on. Might give us a little bit of a pullback, give you a good entry, and then bang, we're gonna break through these things and keep rocking it up. So this is my trade for the next couple of weeks, months. It's gonna be the pound. The GU is still my baby, so I'm playing that one off of this one. I think I've got a little bit of room on the dollar yen. If it breaks these lows, it's gone. So let's watch this thing. I said that before. I was seeing the dollar break those lows and taken out underneath that 108 level. Okay, and then once it gets there, it's gone. All right. So like I said, I had already been waiting on that for a while. This 108 level, if it breaks through here, there's nothing to stop the dollar. Okay, it's gonna go. All right. 101, probably not for a while. Remember that from last year. Okay, the end of 2016, the dollar yen was just tanking. The bank, BOJ had to come in and do something. We're looking at 108, or excuse me, 98 was the low that we got to last year. Freaked people out. They had to come in and support the currency. And then it just rocketed up off the dollar strength. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully this administration can get their act together. Senate can work together and get some stuff passed. If so, the dollar strength might come back again. I don't think we'll see the 118s for the rest of the year for sure. Until next year, we need some tax reform information to come through before we start pushing those levels again. Other than that, we're just going to be in this area, right in here, and maybe even lower. So if that happens, then that's going to be good for the pound. See, so I'm looking for that. That's what I'm saying. I'm playing the UJ to help me kind of gauge that pound trade because it is the pound dollar. So I want to be conscious of that. But if you guys have any questions, go ahead and drop them for me. Please like the video, subscribe to the page, and yeah, Pip, it ain't easy, but somebody's got to do it. Until the next time, y'all, let's try to get it. I'm gone.